the production corps to make garments, surgical dressings, comfort kits, and other supplies.
I used to get awful worried about all the troubles. But my mommy told me about some people who helped the American Red Cross.
Acts of courage and compassion continued throughout the Depression as Americans donated their time, talents, and money to the Red Cross. In 1939, the American Red Cross became the chief supplier of civilian relief supplies, eventually aiding 75 million victims overseas. In 1941, the Red Cross began a blood donor service for the U.S. military. The first request was for 20,000 units of plasma. Instead of producing only liquid plasma from donated blood, Dr. Charles Drew, a brilliant and renowned African-American scientist and teacher, and his hospital staff manufactured large quantities of dried plasma, which lasted longer.
I was teaching surgery at Howard University when I received the telegram, "The Board of Medical Control of the Blood Transfusion Betterment Association is creating a position of medical supervisor to act as liaison officer between the board and the hospital engaged in procuring plasma for shipment to the British Red Cross. I am requested to offer this position to you as being the best qualified of anyone we know." Of course, I accepted immediately. Charles Drew.
The Red Cross recruited over 70,000 nurses, provided 42 million emergency communications, and sent more than 27 million food and medicine parcels to the nearly 1.4 million U.S. and Allied prisoners of war in Germany and elsewhere. It wasn't long before the American Red Cross was supporting U.S. troops again in Korea and later in Vietnam, supporting not only our troops, but also 130,000 refugees.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I have a dream.
The fundamental principles of the American Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, values that both John F. Kennedy and Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. also shared, were defined at the 20th International Conference of the Red Cross in 1965.
The confrontation was not created by the police. The confrontation was
During the turbulent 60s and 70s, youth and world events took center stage for the nation and the Red Cross. The organization increased our focus on young people by creating innovative youth volunteer programs. In 1967, Nick Lameche was still in college when he started volunteering for Friendship Latin America, an international work study sponsored by the National Youth Office. It wasn't always smooth sailing.
The danger of running down the street as bombs fell all around me didn't stop me from trying to find my partner, Thomasina. She was in the building where we taught our Red Cross courses to the Hondurans. It was now a makeshift hospital for the wounded victims of the bombing attack on the village. Very quickly, we found ourselves practicing first aid instead of teaching it. Nick Lameche.
Nick's involvement with Red Cross Youth earned him the honor in 1970 of being the youngest person ever appointed to the American Red Cross Board of Governors. He was 24. Later, the Red Cross helped pioneer yet another health and safety program for Americans, nationwide training in cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, the most effective way to revive persons suffering cardiac arrest. It was in this decade that the American Red Cross made great contributions through blood services.
Please give blood. There's a life to be saved right now.
During the early 80s, Dr. Jerome H. Holland served as the first African-American chairman of the Red Cross.
There may be a tendency to sit back and sit on the laurels of our past, but the only way we can be successful in the future is to build on our firm foundation of the past. Each of us, from personal experience and by individual voice, must communicate the values and satisfaction of participating in community service under the Red Cross banner. We must look to all segments of the community. Jerome Holland.
Jerome Holland made his mark as a diplomat, educator, and humanitarian. Red Cross disaster relief has continued to be mission critical. When the terrorist events of September 11, 2001 occurred, the Red Cross responded on a scale never before experienced by either the organization's workers or those they served. Yet far outnumbering man-made disasters are the large-scale natural disasters Red Cross has responded to in recent years, such as hurricanes, earthquakes, flooding, and tornadoes. The American Red Cross has often joined the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies to provide relief for survivors of natural disasters worldwide, such as the terrifying tsunami disaster in December 2004. In the 21st century, the American Red Cross continues to respond to the emerging needs of those it serves.
He's doing fine now.
It has become a leader in partnering with and mobilizing communities to help people prepare for and respond to life-threatening emergencies. It has mandated a goal of total diversity throughout the entire organization, fulfilling its commitment to reflect the nation as a whole. And it continues to initiate new and innovative programs and services.
I want to tell you a little story.
The story of the American Red Cross continues to unfold. It is about partnerships, generosity, endurance, courage, compassion, and caring. Essentially, a story of the human heart. The story is told by those who have served and continue to serve, decade after decade, preventing and alleviating human suffering wherever it occurs. And now the story will also be told by you.